Welcome back to IGN Live at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Damon. This is Greg. We're talking about all sorts of fun stuff. Movies, games, TV shows, comics.
A little bit of comic books here.
A little bit of that. Now, Greg, did you know that some people, when they go to Comic-Con, they like to dress up?
Like me.
Well,
I'm dressed like an adult.
No, but they like to dress up like characters that they like
you mean
from movies.
costumed play?
Yes.
I have
Sometimes they shorten it to cosplay.
Cosplay.
People who participate are sometimes called cosplayers.
I wonder if we could get 3 really popular ones on the show.
I bet we could. I bet we could get LeeAnna Vamp, Vampy Bit Me, and Mega Marie here to join us on the show.
Ladies, thank you so
Hi,
much for
ladies.
coming.
Thank you for having us.
Look at their lovely outfits.
First, you may need to explain your costumes. We know Resident Evil.
Yes.
The character's name is
Claire Redfield.
Yes,
I did get
yes.
called Jill today, and I was a little
You're like, God damn it, that's the wrong
No,
one.
I try not to be confrontational about it. I was like, I'm not Jill.
Yeah.
But yes,
So yes,
Dark
Claire-
Side Chronicles version, slightly different.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And
June the Swan from Battle of the Planets.
okay,
G-Force.
So I'm aware. I've never watched Battle of the Planets, but I'm aware of it.
Oh yes, awesome.
It's very cool. And
I'm Puss in Boots.
oh yeah, that's right. That's
From
right. Very cool.
Puss in Boots.
From yes.
Not the Shrek version. The standalone version of Puss in Boots, all right?
Get it right.
Now, viewers, remember you could be part of the show. Tweet your questions at IGN with hashtag SDCC. We'll share them here live. But ladies, tell us a little bit about what you guys are all famous cosplayers, well-known cosplayers. Is that correct?
Do you like our faces when we're looking?
What's the correct
kind of
word?
embarrassed
What's
by
the
that.
correct
I know.
word? You all have fans. You're whenever Comic-Con rolls around or a show like this, people are going to expect to see you at these events. Isn't that right?
They do, and we love being here. Cosplay's a fun thing to do, so we like dressing. Who doesn't like dressing up? Who doesn't like Halloween in July?
Yeah.
Right?
It's just
Except for
fun.
the funny thing is now, do any of you guys actually celebrate Halloween?
No,
I never.
I
do.
don't.
No, now you're just like,
It's your one day off.
That is like sexy referees' time to shine. Whereas like we get to go out at conventions and dress.
I
up
just
whenever
give
we
out
want.
candy because that's just fun.
Yeah.
Too.
You guys don't dress up.
And then you get to appreciate
No,
little kids,
not
like
Halloween.
budding cosplayers. We already went on a Halloween tangent.
No, it's fine.
All right, so going down the line, how many outfits do you have ready to go right now? If I said, let's go, go get all your cosplays. We're going out to cosplay.
I have in the car probably 4.
What about at home?
At home, I don't know, like more than a dozen. I would say easily.
So I brought 5, but I
She's
lost
a
count.
million.
I lost count. When I'm bored, I make them. So I'm bored a lot. Thank you.
No problem. I follow you on Twitter. I know very well.
Okay, thanks.
I have 4 here. I've got maybe like 20 at home. I've never understood people's ability to do more than one costume a day. Like Linda, you'll
Thanks
bring.
for pointing at me.
No, but like it's fascinating to me. Like I don't know how you're like a machine being able to change out of them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm in one and I'm committed
I'm
for
bored,
the day. But I
maybe.
also tend to like
Do
get some blood
do
and
some
stuff,
effects,
and
some practical effects.
I can't really translate that to another character too easy.
After you make a costume, do you keep it?
Yeah.
Do you hold on like forever? Like you're gonna have this costume now forever.
It's a lot of work.
Well, you need a lot of closet space. So
Yeah,
it's
true.
costumes.
It's true.
Even if I retire a costume, I never like sell it or give it away usually because it may look nice on the outside, but on the inside it's like a terrible wreck.
Right.
It's like I'd be too embarrassed for someone else to own. It's just like, don't look at my stitching. That is hot glue holding it together. Yes, that's a nail. Yes, I have a scar on my leg from it.
So for each of you, what is it that drives you to do this? Like, I mean, first off, I guess, why cosplay in general? I mean, besides who doesn't like Halloween? Everybody loves Halloween. We get that. Why cosplay in general? And then what about what characters? Like, what do you know you're going to go make a character for?
Well, for me, I do a web-based show. It's called I Love Nerd Girls. So I cosplay for the show. So that's kind of what got me into it.
Gotcha.
And then once I started doing it, I kind of fell in love. So
Okay.
now I feel like I have to. It's one of those things that you just have
Now
to
you're
do.
addicted.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay.
And then as far as characters, I pick stuff that I like. I'm not claiming to be like an expert on everything, but I just pick stuff that is fun for me.
Okay. Linda.
I like what LeeAnna said because
Oh,
really, no, really, we just all have fun and we just like to make make cosplays that we like. I mean, if I'm playing a video game like that, she is awesome. I'm gonna make her costume, and it's kind of like a challenge too. If it's easy, I kind of stray away from the easy stuff. It's like an art thing, so it's more like you learn a lot of new traits while you make costumes. So it's always like a level thing. So you feel like you're leveling up every time
Yeah.
you make a costume. Yeah.
Well, before we went on air, Meg, you were talking about the fact that now it's so easy for you to make leather, and how you have all these tools you've assembled that
Yeah.
in the beginning it was hard, but now you have all the stuff.
I usually try to pick costumes that will teach me a new skill. And so leatherworking is one that I tried for the first time last year, and now it's really cool to just take a hide and then all of a sudden it's a holster. And, well, not all of a sudden, there's some more in between. But I mean, it's cool. That's like one of the criteria is if I think it's going to teach me something new. But generally speaking, I gravitate towards like kind of badass female characters. And I do that because I can kind of do like the professional appearance thing at work and dress up and so on, but I don't really have many excuses in normal, regular, everyday life to be covered in blood and dirt and run around with weapons. So those are the characters I tend to go for.
She's a badass, pretty much. As well.
I'm masquerading as one. I may have convinced a few people I'm a badass. I'm probably not.
We believe you.
I'm scared of her.
LeeAnna, how did you do your canine teeth?
Smile,
Is it a secret or is it?
No,
Is it a secret?
Okay. If it's just.
They don't
I
call
was
her
born
Vamp
this
for
way.
Yes.
nothing.
Okay, that's true.
There's some
very
things I don't talk about.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Some
Some
things are just
tricks to the trade.
Too personal for IGN's live stream.
I do want to talk about something serious. We're having fun here.
I'm scared.
No, it's a good. I think it's a good series. It's something that came up recently. Cosplay does not equal consent. The fact that there was this movement of cosplayers like yourselves, right, saying that, we are doing this not to be objectified, not to be ridiculed, not to be approached or have creeper photos taken. Since that, I think that broke out for me at least when I first saw it was like maybe 2 conventions ago. Where are you guys with that? Is it getting better? Do people, for the most part, do people at the con understand and not like be inappropriate?
I think that the conversation has really started to pick up, and that's like, talking about it and getting it out there and acknowledging that it's an issue is the first step. And I feel like there has been a lot of acknowledgement of it. I think the main thing is cosplayers feeling empowered to take action. And so them having the ability to know, like, hey, I don't have to tolerate this, because I think all of us have been in a position where you don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to make things awkward, you just want to have fun with your friends, but if someone's acting inappropriate, you may have blown it off in the past. But now I see a lot of cosplayers standing up, both male and female, by the way, and saying, if someone's acting inappropriate, I'm going to tell them to stop, and if it gets out of hand, I'm going to consult, security and take care of it.
Actually, at a lot of conventions now, they post like cosplay is not consent. So guys are really, and girls are really cautious now.
Yeah.
So even the ones that go up to us to talk to us, I notice they say, excuse me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're still a little bit, they're a
yeah.
lot more polite than before.
We
so.
don't want people to feel like, one of the reasons we dress up is because we are celebrating our love and our passion for cosplay and for characters and franchises. We want people to come up to us who are fans of Resident Evil or the properties, and so we don't want to be unapproachable in any way. That's not it. But just asking, is it okay if I put my hand on your waist? Most cosplayers don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, just being courteous.
Well, no,
So-
I think it's something that, as both, gaming and nerddom and whatever gets to be more and more popular, right? We need to be empowered to have that conversation and not make it awkward, right?
Yeah.
It's not weird to come
Yeah,
up and be
no,
like,
it's not.
excuse me, I want to take a photo,
Yeah.
blah, blah, and instead of just being like,
Yeah.
like we were recording stuff yesterday, people were taking photos of us. It's like, dude, wait 2 seconds. And you can be in the photo.
The worst are the ones where you're like
When you're
eating
eating.
and you have your shoes off. But I just saw a cosplay meme photo going around that was like butt on the floor, photos no more, and it had like a cosplayer sitting down with their shoes off, obviously taking a break. I thought that was funny.
my
Food in your mouth, taking a bite,
Yeah.
and you're like,
That was going to end up.
I worked really hard to make this
sure.
look good.
Yeah.
Just wait a second while I kill this
at
burger.
that point, you can see a
I
picture
got
of me
a
eating
couple
all day long.
donut
I don't even
pictures.
care. You want it, take it.
Yeah.
I'm eating.
Now we are getting some questions in from Twitter. Jason G asks, "Can you make a living being a cosplayer, or do you have to have a full-time job?"
There's some people out there that can make a living, but I think most of them supplement it with commissions. They do.
Yeah.
So they'll go and be invited at events, but then they'll have booths and they'll sell
Yeah.
merchandise or prints or do full costume commissions. And there's a couple of very professional cosplayers out there.
Gotcha.
But I think it's hard to do.
Yeah,
it's definitely
possible,
it's
but,
hard to
yeah,
do.
There's not that many of them.
We have another question here from Nick. He asks, "How long does it take to make a cosplay outfit?" Obviously, it depends on what. But is there an average time?
No, there isn't. Depending on, sometimes if I'm really lazy, I'll be looking at the materials and I'm like, I'll see you later. And then you'll go and make a two-day costume. And that's like whatever. But then you can have projects ranging from 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And maybe some ones are 2 days.
Couple days,
so it
yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the most confusing on Twitter because you do so much of it that you're like, oh, I'm working on this Metroid suit, and then all of a sudden it's you're showing Psylocke, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, like I said, I really like making stuff, so it's one of my hobbies, and I pretty much do it full time now. So and I don't sleep much, and not much of us sleep that much, so it doesn't really matter.
She'll text me early in the morning, and I'll think that she's awake early, but she just hasn't actually gone to sleep yet.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
How hard was it for you to do your first cosplay? To like be like, there's this weird thing going on. I want to do this. I'm going to do it. And then you put on the outfit, like you walk down the street, like. It's got to be weird, right? I dress as a Ghostbuster. That's easy. Done. Nobody cares about that.
Well, mine was a Silent Hill nurse, and yeah, that was
You got
like
that anonymity.
Yeah, I know.
yes,
No one
and it
knows.
was very bad because I used a trash bag and I spray painted it.
Yeah.
So I thought it would.
And you
look
put a
good.
trash bag over your head?
And you're probably
What's
dying.
the worst that can happen?
You just can't breathe.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
than that, you're fine.
Yeah, but it worked out. It wasn't that hard. I don't think. It's
Yeah.
just fun. I mean, we all really do this
I
just to have
agree.
fun.
Is it harder now to look back at those original costumes?
Yes.
Use the
I think
trash
all of
bag?
us want our first.
That's
like,
the
we
hardest
love those
part.
Yeah, right?
pictures.
You didn't know any
Look at
better
all the
then,
You
sure.
need a redo.
Yes.
You never get a redo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it is kind of fun to show how far you've come.
Yeah,
and what
exactly.
you do, So.
Yeah.
Now, Megan, one of our viewers, Crystallis Mythos, says your Claire Redfield costume is spot on. OMG, tell her she looks awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I have to agree.
I appreciate that very much.
Now, people always cosplay at events like Comic-Con, PAX. Is there a cosplay event where all it is cosplaying, where people gather and...
Oh, yeah.
Is like Dragon Con as close
Yeah,
as it
I
gets?
think Dragon Con is probably it.
I've not been. I'm
I
going for the
haven't
first
been
time
either.
this
Okay,
year.
I'm not the only one.
I always go to PAX, and
Sure.
it's the same weekend.
Yeah.
And so this
Okay.
year
I've
I'm
never
going
been
to
either. I
Dragon
only go to
Con.
PAX
Oh my
as
god, I
well.
can't believe I
So
haven't been.
yeah.
You've done PAX East, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
All the PAXs.
I was I went
Wait,
to,
have you been to PAX Australia?
Okay, no, just kidding.
That's right now.
Well,
you can't
not
throw
exactly fair.
a bus
Fine
for that.
then, in
Let's go to
America.
Australia.
Okay, I should.
How expensive does the hobby get on that side? Just travel all the time, right?
Oh man.
I mean, IGN sends me everywhere. That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys are like, oh, I gotta pay for this.
Yeah, it's definitely an investment if you really love the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you get to hang out with your friends.
But you can make it work. You can room with 18 people.
Right.
and sleep
18
in the
people, each of you have
bathtub.
4 costumes.
And-
There's helmets everywhere,
It
guns
works.
on the wall.
Trust me. And you can sleep in the bathtub and
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
fly red eyes. I used to fly red eyes all the time.
Yeah.
Like just the absolute cheapest flight I could find, and it's totally worth it.
We have one more question from Twitter here. Zachary Arnold asks, what costume are each of you most proud of in your history of cosplay? We'll start with LeeAnna.
I'm gonna have to say my Chewbacca bikini. That's my Chewbacca bikini. I love that one.
Bikini, I love that.
Oh, me now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't see through this visor. But my Morgan is definitely still my favorite because the head wings were crazy to make. And I looked at all the game sprites and I'm like, I have to make it like that. It has to go out like that. So I was kind of psycho over it. So
Nice.
I'm pretty proud of that one. So yeah.
How about you, Megan?
I think most proud of would have to be my Anya Stroud from Gears
yeah.
of War.
That one.
That
Yeah.
one, like as soon as I saw that they were allowing, like that the women would
Who's
be
gonna- yeah,
Gears,
yeah.
I was just like,
You
I
are,
need to
yeah.
make this, I need to make this, and like the Epic crew gave me, you know, like full shots of her 360s. So I worked on it for like a year, and it's actually there's cosplayers who've done it significantly better than me because like there's been lots of cool tutorials and stuff, but at the time that was my first time really. You know, trying to tackle armor and things lit up, and it was just so fun to make, and I was really proud of it.
Now that you three have this legion of Twitter followers and everyone knows that you're this big deal, you know, for cosplay, do you think about, oh, I'm gonna do this character regardless, and then reach out, like you said, Epic there. Do you reach out to companies who made the original property, and are they like receptive, like, oh, sure, here's all this kind of stuff, and like, is there a weird relationship there?
No, it's actually because we're fans usually, and then they find us and they're like, why? Why do you do this? Yeah.
I mean, I've
usually.
had a couple of companies like reach out and,
Right.
and you know say like, can we? I actually, oh man, I forgot about that for a second. Epic invited me to the Gears of War 3 launch in Paris, which
very
was
cool. Right.
insane.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But they'll reach out to you sometimes.
Yep.
But most of the time, I found that they're really willing to share stuff. I mean, you may have to like sign an NDA or something, but they appreciate your commitment in fandom because it really is. I mean, you're committing so much time and money. I mean, it's expensive and energy just because you love their property so much. So they seem pretty receptive to that, I think.
Let's say you've inspired someone out there to cosplay for the first time. What advice would you have for them? Like starting out with their first costume?
Don't be afraid to mess up. You know, you're gonna mess up a lot. I still do all the time. So never be afraid. We all mess up all the time, so it doesn't really matter.
And do something that you're a fan of and that you love,
Right.
and it should be fun. Like that's the most important thing is that you're doing something for fun. So don't stress out on it.
I think that's my number one tip is do something you love, because if you don't have that passion to carry you through, chances are you're gonna get really angry and go insane.
Yep.
But like a practical piece of advice is I usually say start out modifying stuff rather than creating it from scratch. So you can find, if you're not that great of a seamstress, find a shirt that you can tailor instead of trying to make it from scratch, or something you can dye if it's not the right color.
Or like get
just baby steps.
cheap glove, and then glove patterns are always really hard. So I just
rip it apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
take
rip it
stuff apart. That's something I learned for you. Like buy cheap things from like a thrift store, take them apart, and then use them for a pattern.
Right.
Are there resources online? Is YouTube
yeah.
like,
Oh,
is that
there's so
changing
many
the game
things
kind
now.
of?
Yeah.
You can pretty much find anything online.
The RPF, the replica prop
Yeah.
forms, a really good one.
Right.
There's,
Instructables.
but a lot of the cosplayers on Facebook actually post work in progress photos all the time, and I do that. I mean, I follow probably 300 or 400 cosplayers on Facebook just because I like looking through my feed and seeing someone working with thermoplastics and what kind of things they're using to seal it, and it's a really good. I mean, a lot of people are really open about their process. So
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. You
Oh,
all
thank
look
you
so
for
cool.
having us.
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Super fun. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks.
You too.
Greg,
we
what?
gotta, we gotta do a cosplay.
I know. Just say, what would our cosplay be?
I don't know. We have to find, I guess, Laurel and Hardy. That's about
Maybe,
as good as it can get.
maybe if our viewers have any suggestions
Tweet
as
at
to
us.
what Greg and I should cosplay as together, tweet them at us. Dame Zero, Game Over Greggy.
Then be part of the show at IG
yeah.
and hashtag SDCC.
Yeah, exactly.